Makes no sense in my mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense what you said. Yeah, okay. Do you have time for another question? Okay, this issue is internally with Islam. It's about Tawhid.
Okay.
I got this from the book God by Reza Aslan.
I don't know who that is, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. He wrote a book called Zealot. It was about the life of times of Jesus. It's popular in America, though. Basically, the issue with Tawhid, they said as soon as they established the oneness of Allah, then they started having an issue with Allah's word. If Allah's words come from Allah and they're not part of Allah, then how is Allah one? And then even deeper, if Allah, before he created anything, if he creates anything outside of himself, then how can he be one? How does that not violate Tawhid? Like, there was nothing in the universe. It was just him. He was just one. And then he creates. And now there's more than one. Everything comes from him ultimately. So how does that not violate Tawhid? Something like that. And that's how you get the Sufi school of thoughts.
It's not the Sufi school of thought.
Yeah.
Look, I think you're getting into things that are way beyond your experience. And I'm saying that with all due respect to you. Because what he's saying is essentially he's saying the position of the Mu'tazila. Did he mention Mu'tazila in his book? Mu'tazila?
He mentioned some of them by name and some stories, but I don't know.
I'm sure. Who did he mention? Wasl ibn Ata, Amr ibn Ubayd. Anyways, he's mentioning. I don't know if you remember the names, obviously, right? But point is, he's referring to the Mu'tazila, which had an issue in Greek philosophy, which is completely ridiculous. Which is the idea that if God has multiple attributes, there is multiple gods, or if God creates something, there's multiple gods. If God has more than one attribute, like if God is powerful and knowing and just, then now there is one God that is powerful, one God that is just. This is a ridiculous claim that the Mu'tazila had, that they were confused by, just because Allah Azza wa Jal has attributes, therefore there's multitudes of gods. How does that make any sense? But you're making the claim, so I'm asking you. The claim from the book,
well, You're referring to the attributes. I was referring to also, I guess they are talking about the attributes.
They are, because that's where the claim comes from.
Yeah, I was thinking about the words of Allah.
The words of Allah is
creation itself. Not just his attributes, but creating anything at all.
No, the words of Allah is the attribute of Allah. The kalam of Allah, the speech of God is the attribute of God. Just like your speech is your attribute. So it's the same issues. Just like if you compare it with mercy, you see how ridiculous it is when you start comparing it with other attributes. Problem is, I don't know if this guy is a Christian or apostate or whatever it is, but he's confusing Christian theology now of a word becoming God, which is something we don't believe in to begin with. We believe the attributes of Allah are always eternal within Allah Azza wa Jal. Means that Allah is all the time able to actualize this attribute. He's all the time able to be loving, merciful, create, speak. These are eternal attributes within Allah Azza wa Jal. And then Allah speaks. Now Allah creates and makes creation. And that does not mean, therefore, that there is now other gods. How does that make any sense? Do you know what ta'wil means?
The God is one. The oneness of God.
No, that's tawheed. Okay, no problem. It's okay. That's why I said to you, bro. Look. I said to you, Andrew, you're a nice brother. You're a polite person. But that's why I said to you, these things are way above your kind of understanding, and it's way above his understanding because he doesn't know what he's talking about. So he read some things and got confused, and then wrote it. Right. That's why I don't want to start here an Islamic history lecture. You're not going to find any Muslim today that believes that have an issue with Tawheed, that Allah has many attributes, therefore there's many gods. There's not a single Muslim that believes this nonsense.